Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I've been thinking a lot this week about what happens when our people are going through a storm. That my person, the people we really do life with. Sometimes I think the scenario is that we are called to be in that storm with them, that we're called to participate in that. And if I'm being honest, this is the side of the scenario that I prefer. If I can share in the experience with them, that I can help carry the weight a little bit. If I can be in the middle of it with them, we can figure out a way to fix it from the inside out. I can share the weight if I'm a part of it. But what about the other side of that? What happens when we're not called to be in the middle? What happens when we're called to be on the outside? And when that happens for me, when that's my person, and I'm not called to be in the middle, I start to think and say things like, I'm zero good to them if I'm not in it with them. I'm failing them if I'm not in it. I can't calm a storm for them that I can't get into. As I've been thinking about this throughout the week and wrestling with it, I landed on Matthew 5:14 through 16, and it reads, "Your lives light up the world. For how can you hide a city that stands on a hilltop? And who would light a lamp and then hide it in an obscure place? Instead, it's placed where everyone in the house can benefit from its light. So don't hide your light. Let it shine brightly before others so that your commendable works will shine as a light upon them, and then they will give their praise to your Father." That last line, let your light shine brightly before others. Your light directed towards them is going to shine, and they're going to notice it. If I put a flashlight towards you, you're going to be able to see the light actually on you. So what I've come to the conclusion of, what do? We be the light. We be us. And recently, I shared a little snip of a message I gave on that I believe that we're predisposed to the ways of Jesus and what that meant and what that means from my perspective. The Cliff Notes version essentially is God is pure light according to 1 John 1:5. And Jesus is the exact representation of the Father according to John 14:9. And when Jesus is revealed, we are revealed according to Colossians 3:4. So God is pure light. Jesus is the exact representation of the Father. So Jesus is pure light. And when Jesus is revealed, we are revealed. And so we were created as pure light. You don't need to work to become this. You just need to allow Jesus to introduce you to you. And then you learn how to be that light you already are. And this is what the ministry of presence means to me. That when we can't help them, when we can't carry the burden, when we can't fix it, when it's not our storm to go into, we're called to be the light. We're called to be the beacon that offers a solid, immovable point of hope for those in the storm and those in the darkness. The ministry of presence, it's not necessary to know the right thing to say. It's not necessary to say words at all. Not necessary to know the answers. It's about just being there. Your presence, your existence is a ministry. Your presence is a gift of light to those in darkness, to those in the storm. The kicker, though, the ministry of presence doesn't fix it. The ministry of presence doesn't take away the hurt, doesn't take away the pain, doesn't remove the storm. But it does allow the person in the middle of it to be able to focus on light. It allows them to know that there is a constant place of hope in the midst of chaos. A lighthouse does not steer a boat. It doesn't help bail water when a boat is sinking, a lighthouse has a fixed position. The storm doesn't get to move the beacon of light. A lighthouse is a source of guiding, warning of hazards, of acknowledging and knowing position. And the lighthouse creates those opportunities simply by being a beacon that can be seen. And we can feel like this isn't enough sometimes. When my person is hurting, being an immovable object of light 100 miles away doesn't really do it for me. Doesn't seem like the answer when that is a person I do life with. It can seem like this isn't enough if I'm not in the middle. I want to enter that storm so that I can calm it. I want to go in there with them so I can help, so that I can help carry it. So what do I do when I'm not called to the middle? I acknowledge and understand that they have to steer their own boat. There's going to be a time that they're going to have to bail their own water. My job, what do? I make sure that when they look up, they see light. What do I do when I'm not called to be in the middle? Is I make sure anytime they look up, they see an immovable point of hope. Regardless of the chaos, regardless of the storm, when they look up, they see light. The ministry of presence is sufficient. Be the light. Your presence is a gift, and it's enough. I'll see you next week.